And I'm pleased to welcome with us right now today the Honorable Pablo Rodriguez, Minister of Canadian Heritage and Multiculturalism. He has with him from the Department of Canadian Heritage, Hélène Laurando, Deputy Minister, and Andrew Francis, Chief Financial Officer. I'm to say that today the committee will study the subject matter of Supplementary Estimates B 2018-19, votes 1B and 5B under the Department of Canadian Heritage, referred to the committee on January 28, 2019, and pursuant to Standing Order 81 Sub 5, deemed reported back 3 days before the final allotted day of the supply period, ending March 26, 2019. Therefore, today's meeting will take place under Standing Order 108 Sub 2. And on that note, Monsieur le Ministre, s'il vous plaît.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du...
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for inviting me to speak before you. First of all, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabeg. Ms. Laurando and Mr. Francis are with me today.
Supplementary estimates. I'd like to thank the committee for all your hard work in the last couple of months on C-91, Indigenous languages, on the review of the Copyright Act, Bill C-93 to establish the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, just to name a few. Those are very important issues to Canadians, and your work is making a difference in their lives. Et alors, merci beaucoup pour vos efforts et la qualité de...
And so thank you very much for your effort and the quality of your work.
Well, to speak to you about the investments we're making in Canadian arts and culture. This year's budget reflects a promise we made to Canadians 4 years ago, a promise to support the middle class and the people working hard to join it. So Canadian Heritage, we're continuing to reinvest in our creators and cultural industries. We do it, why? We do it because culture matters. It matters to all Canadians. We all love going to the movies, sing along to a favorite band, or enjoying a great book. And judging from your reactions to a certain Canadian rock icon who recently paid this committee a visit, I think that members of the committee can agree that some of our best memories are from concerts we've been to. Et je le dis souvent, la culture, c'est le fun, mais...
Often, culture is fun, but it's also good for the economy. Culture contributes more than $53 billion to the economy of our country. The cultural sector also employs over 650,000 Canadians and creates many more jobs in the tourism industry. That means indirect jobs in restaurants, transportation, construction, It has an immense impact everywhere.
In culture because diversity and inclusion are important to Canadians. These values are part of our identity, part of who we are. But sadly, we know that Canada is not immune to racism, discrimination, and the politics of division. And this is why we're investing to celebrate our diversity and promote inclusion. Madame la Présidente, les investissements du budget
Investments for Budget 2019, Madam Chair, will allow us to keep the promise we made to Canadians. We're supporting our music industry by investing $20 million over 2 years, $10 million a year, for the Canada Music Fund. We're supporting creators, festivals, and shows by investing $16 million over 2 years in the Canada Arts Presentation Fund. We're also going to support local celebrations, especially those of diverse groups such as Pride and powwows. And for that, we're investing $34 million over 2 years in the Building Communities Through Arts and Heritage program and through the Celebration and Commemoration program. The budget also includes $10 million over 2 years to mark the new National Truth and Reconciliation Day and to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day.
Through the multiculturalism program, we support projects to eliminate discrimination, racism, and prejudice in communities across Canada. And in budget 2019, we propose to provide $45 million over 3 years, starting this year, for a new anti-racism strategy. We want to find ways to combat racism in all its forms while focusing on community projects. At the governmental level, these efforts will be coordinated by an anti-racism secretariat. In terms of reconciliation, our government has taken a decisive step in the right direction by tabling our bill on Indigenous languages. And I want to thank you all for doing the pre-study and completing your report on the bill. Because what you did is so important because, as you know, the situation is urgent. 3/4 of Indigenous languages spoken in Canada are in danger, and this is why we will provide adequate, stable, and sustainable funding to reclaim, revitalize, maintain, and strengthen Indigenous languages. In our 2019 budget, we're proposing major investments. You saw it, more than $333 million over 5 years, starting this year, and more than $115 million for every year after that. Le projet de loi prévoit des mécanismes qui sont.
The bill proposes responsive and flexible mechanisms that will allow us to direct funds to Indigenous communities directly, to regional and national Indigenous organizations, and self-governing Indigenous governments. They are the ones working on the ground, and they know local needs and local communities much better than we do. They are better placed than we are to define and identify solutions that are effective for them. They will have all the tools they need to allocate funds appropriately. Madam Chair, we're counting on working with you and members of this committee to pass the bill by the summer adjournment.
Investments laid out in the budget, we're pleased that the supplementary estimates B include the additional funding we requested. It amounts to an increase of $9.34 million. Now, allow me to review quickly the main items in that, including that amount. First, the amount of $5 million will go on to the Vancouver Foundation to improve access to Canada's justice system. It's also our government's way of recognizing the enormous contributions of Beverly McLachlin, the former Chief Justice of Canada, and these funds are used to support projects that help break down barriers to civil and family justice. Our government is committed to ensuring that Canadians have the best possible access to the justice system. It's key to having a healthy, democratic, and inclusive society. En hommage à l'ancien gouverneur général du Canada, le très honorable.
The Right Honorable David Johnston includes a tribute to him. We have a fund of more than $2 million to support training that mobilizes Canadians around projects for a stronger Canada. The supplementary estimates B includes over $1 million for the Canadian Soccer Association. This funding will support the World Cup for 26 for FIFA. Those who know me know that I'm very pleased with this. And finally, I wish to mention an investment of over $500,000 for an initiative that is particularly important for all Canadian citizens, which is to ensure a healthy digital democracy.
Our democracy depends on the reliability and diversity of our news and information sources. Every citizen is entitled to develop informed opinions, hold governments and individuals to account, and participate in public discourse. There's a rise in foul, misleading, and harmful information online and in social media. And in this matter, our government takes its role very, very seriously. We support projects that equip Canadians with the ability to evaluate online information with a critical eye. And in our 2019 budget, we want to strengthen this digital democracy project. So we're proposing an investment of more than $19 million over 4 years. These funds will create a program that will help us better understand the impacts of misinformation and identify ways to fight it. This investment will also allow Canadians to lead an international initiative to strengthen citizens' resilience to misinformation and promote the diversity of online content. In the same perspective, it is in the same perspective that we want to support journalists across Canada. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Professional journalism is one of the pillars of our democracy. We cannot just stand by as our daily and weekly newspaper rapidly disappear. Les journalistes professionnels, et je l'ai dit souvent, je le répète.
I've often said it, and I'll say it again. Professional journalism is a pillar of our democracy. And when we see how quickly our newspapers and our daily and weekly newspapers are disappearing, we cannot simply sit on the sidelines. Here again, the government has a major role to play, and we have taken action. As you know, you saw it in the fall 2018 economic statement. We announced our intention to introduce targeted tax measures to support Canadian journalism, notably through tax credits and incentives. I want to assure you that these credits and incentives are essential, and they will be granted with the utmost respect for a fundamental principle, which is independence and freedom of the press.
So, Madam Chair, arts and culture remain a priority for our government, and we continue to support our artists and creators, just as we will continue to create jobs and protect our inclusive diversity. Alors, Madame la Présidente, chers collègues, merci.
Madam Chair, dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. I also wish to thank my Parliamentary Secretary, Andy Fillmore, who's doing extraordinary work. I'm very lucky, we're very lucky to have him. And now I'll be happy to take your questions. Very well. We're now moving on to questions and answers. We're going to start with Mr. Breton for 7 minutes. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Minister, for being with us today. Welcome, Ms. Laurando and Mr. Francis. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. I'm very proud to see the investments in arts and culture. I'm going to go to my first question for the Minister. And it could touch on our organizations. You talked about investing in festivals. As you know, there are big festivals in Quebec, in Montreal, in the big cities throughout Quebec. I get the impression that new investments that you're proposing in the budget are for smaller festivals and regions that are often the cornerstone of local celebrations. You talked about the economy, and this helps support local economies. I'd like to hear more about those investments into the festivals that you're proposing. You mentioned them very briefly in your opening statement. Thank you, Mr. Breton, for the question, and also thank you for the invitation. I had a great time when I went to visit. I played guitar with the students from the Granby School, and that was a great moment. It was both improvised and memorable. You've mentioned that we're significantly investing into festivals. There's two amounts that you must keep in mind. When it comes to large festival, we have 16 million for the Canada Arts Presentation Fund, and for smaller festivals that can happen in your riding or elsewhere, that's $14 million through the local festivals, through the Arts and Heritage Program. We have another 10 million, which is for celebrations and commemorations, whether it be as part of Canada Day or others. Essentially, we're talking about $40 million more over 2 years for these celebrations. These are considerable amounts, and it is the first time in about 10 years that those budgets have increased. And why is that? It is through our festivals that we go and gather together. It's through our festivals that we can add life and vitality to our regions, to our villages, to our cities. I know that there's many festivals in your area, Mr. Breton. I know your region well, and I hope people will come to see us and work with us. Thank you. I think that's great news for our regions, particularly where these festivals are held, and that was a strong ask from the industry. You mentioned journalism. In my riding alone, I have 5 daily papers. I've got 4 community papers that are published every day and 1 radio station. And if you want to talk about journalism, they're in a period of transition that is quite significant for them. You mentioned investments. How, more specifically, in more detail, will these sources of media be able to access? How will they be able to access more capital to help them out to get through this broad transformation? Well, you're raising a good point. Our newspapers are going through a crisis, a significant one. We have to call it what it is. Since 2010, they've gone through significant change. We want to create real measures to support Canadian newspapers, both large and small. As you know, there's 2 different amounts. There's 50 million for regions. We want to make sure that everyone has access to news that is neutral, impartial, and balanced. In every region, people want to know what's happening in their mayor's office, what their federal MP is doing. So there's that $50 million, but there's also the $600 million. That's a vast amount of money to be granted in tax credits and incentives. There's going to be a panel, and we're going to let the industry determine who the members of the panel will be. It will not be the Department of Heritage, who will, according to certain criteria, determine who is eligible to these tax credits, and the tax credits will be granted to the newspapers in question. Did I understand correctly when you said that the tax credits will be granted mostly to news creators? It has to be news. It's not opinion pieces. I can write a piece about my opinion on anything, but what we need is neutral and professional media. We're lucky to have professional journalism, the kind of professional journalism that we do in Canada, and we need to protect it. I have 1.5 minutes left, and I would like to give you the chance to talk to us about music because I care a great deal about it. You mentioned that we're going to support the music industry through a $20 million investment over 2 years. And this has to do with music in Canada. Can you give us more details about new investments in music, Minister, please? Yes, absolutely. I think music is something we all care about. 2 things. First, we had to make sure that there was more funding. It has to be said that music funding hadn't been increased. In fact, it had been cut over the years. and we had to reinvest. So we invested $20 million over 2 years, $10 million a year. That was what ADISC had actually asked for. We had to invest that $20 million and ensure that we modernized the Canada Music Fund, and that's what we're going to do at the same time. Thank you. That's all of your time.
For 7 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, Minister, I'd like to thank your staff, Ms. Lamadou, for her input into our committee and study that we recently did. She stayed with us for many hours and provided valuable input, so I really appreciate your staff being there because she was excellent. I'm going to deal with the one with the business income tax measures as referred to a minute ago. The Quebec Community Paper Association, one of the comments, some of our member newspapers do not have resource to employ more than one journalist, and often the editor also writes the news articles. It's not going to work. So in my writing, I don't have any dailies. I have weeklies. I have the Tabor Times. I have Vauxhall Advance. I have the Rocky View Weekly. I have the Chestermere Anchor. I have the Bizano Times, Strathmore Times, the Brooks Bulletin. And if you look at all of those papers, and that's not all of them, the owner is usually the editor, and the owner, he has a camera, and there's one reporter. But these are the lifeblood of my communities. They cover the local mayor, the councils, the hockey team, what did they do, enhancing development in that community. They're the lifeblood. But under your criteria, 2 or more journalists in the production of his content with a deal arm's length from the organization, it's usually the editor is the owner. And so he's not only the owner, he's the photographer, the writer. And in all of these, you can list through. They may have one reporter, maybe 2, but usually they're not just a reporter, they're a photographer. So every one of the weeklies in my writing won't get anything out of this because the criteria eliminates them. And these are the lifeblood of all of the communities in my writing. All of the weeklies, and it's weeklies. I had the Calgary Herald up to years ago, but I don't take it anymore because it doesn't cover the communities in my writing. And that's what most people do. It's the lifeblood, the weeklies. And the owner is the editor and the photographer and the reporter. So one of the owner editors I met with, he said, you're trying to save print media. He said the federal government used to advertise in print media. Now they don't. He said it's all social media. He says, give us back our print media. Advertising from the federal government. You've pulled that all from the weekly newspapers. He said, if we had that as a source of income, that would make a difference. So on one hand, you want to support the production of newspapers, the big paper chains, which maybe they're dying, but you said you need to support them. But on the other hand, you've pulled that support from the weekly newspapers that are lifebloods in the communities. So when you say they have to have 2 reporters separate, if you look through every one of my weeklies here, Brooks Bulletin included, they won't qualify because of that piece. These are owned by the editor. The editors are the owners of these weekly papers. They can't be separated. They're part of it. So that's an ask when I meet with the weekly newspapers, my writer. Give us back the print ads that the federal is doing because you're going to support the large papers in print form, but you've pulled the support and advertising from the weeklies. That's a challenge.
I sense many questions in that question.
Well, it's a huge challenge for the weeklies.
No, but yes, Mr. Shields, but in due respect, the shift from traditional media to social media started under the previous government.
Got that, but you're going to support $600 million into the print media.
It did start under the previous government, so it's something that you see across the world. Now, what do we do with that? Do we shut our hands or cross our arms and do nothing, or we intervene? We said we have to intervene. Now, for weeklies, it's a different program. It's the Political Fund that already exists. And I think we're putting like $75 million per year on that program that already exists and that is there for weeklies. And yeah. So
but out of the
that's where-
$600 million,
that's
with
where they
that
go.
simple criteria, you've eliminated them. That simple criteria, you've eliminated the weeklies out of that $600 million.
Actually, we don't eliminate anybody. We're trying to
That's what it says right here.
fix a problem.
If they don't
that
meet that
exists.
criteria, they're eliminated.
But are we?
So just to try and help.
No,
others.
because I'm trying to understand, Mr. Chair, again, with all due respect, but your party seems to be opposing this measure on one side.
I am for my weeklies and my writing.
And on the other side, you seem to say that they should get the funds. So,
But you're saying you're supporting the major dailies, but you don't support
no,
the
we're
weeklies.
supporting the weeklies through the periodical fund, as I mentioned to you, and there's a $75 million there.
But not the
It is-
600,
it
the
is
new
there for
600.
them. It is there for them. It depends. Some of them could qualify
No,
under
none of
the
them.
rules.
None of them
but-
will under that criteria, not
but-
one of them.
But the periodical fund is there on the $75 million. And it's always been there, actually. They're allowed to.
Yeah, but you've got a new program with 600 that, with that simple one-line criteria, you've eliminated all the weeklies.
No.
In my
Because
writing,
the
you
program
did.
was not for the weeklies. The program was not for the weeklies. The program was there for the other papers, and the weeklies we had the periodical fund.
Would you consider changing that criteria?
The panel can consider that. So I'm not there to tell them what to do.
No, but you've got the criteria already set.
Yeah, but the
All I'm asking
criteria
is you change that.
that are there that launch the conversations, and it opens up the conversation. They can end up with some few things are different, but there's one thing. I'm not going to name the panel. I'm not going to tell them
Oh, I
what
got
to do.
that. It's just that one line of criteria, and then all the print ads have been pulled. So it really makes it difficult under this criteria you put in here, and the print ads gone from the federal government. It's just, these are the lifeblood of my communities, all of them. We don't have a daily.
But I invite you to tell them that what they probably already know, which is to go to the periodical fund.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alors, nous allons à Monsieur Nantel pour cette.
Mr. Nantel, you have 7 minutes. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Francis, Madame Laurando, and Mr. Rodriguez. I think everybody here on the committee will recognize this subject, which is absolutely vital for our worldwide cultural diversity, especially for Canada and Quebec, which is so productive when it comes to television content. We need to ensure that this sector continues to expand internationally. I want to tell you that because I only have 7 minutes and I've lost 30 seconds already, I'm going to ask very short questions, and I'm hoping to get the shortest answers possible. Have you had the opportunity to see children 10, 12 years old and see just how they are no longer exposed to Quebec's culture?
Swipe it.
Oui, je suis exposé à. C'est-à-dire que oui, il y a plein d'enfants autour de moi.
Yes, there are children around me. Are they not exposed? Yes, they are. Would I like them to be more exposed? Yes, of course. That's exactly it. The truth is that recently we got statistics indicating that 42% of children 0 to 4 years old have their own device, their iPad, their tablet, to look at whatever programs they like. And if adults are no longer bound by radio broadcasting corporations, often 5-year-olds will listen to the same Paw Patrol episode in English 5 times over. Even recently, in winter, it was suggested that we get emergency measures and get some suggestions of what the government could do. And I'm outraged when the response was always the same one. What we had to say was relevant information from the industry. Stakeholders were there. They asked you to intervene, and I was told the same thing over and over. Oh, you're constantly telling us the same thing. What are you waiting for to intervene and do what needs to be done, which is to impose emergency measures? If we're waiting for the Yale Commission's report, we're only going to get it in June. Could you please refer to subs B in your question in order to remain within the parameters of this meeting? I am alluding directly to page 215 to 237, credit 5B. The government is doing nothing and has to compensate with public funds to the media fund. It's connected. We're spending Canadians' money when the media fund is drying up because fewer people are subscribing to cable. the government committed to compensating the loss of revenue because the media fund is extremely important for us as a government, and we share your point of view. When it comes to the other matter, the matter of funding, we grant a lot of importance to the work of that committee, and we're waiting for the report. Can we make sure that Canadian businesses online and offline ensure the production and distribution of Canadian content? That is essential for us. It's fundamental. If you participate in the system, you have to contribute to the system, but we have to define how. Yes, that's exactly it, because if we wait until June to get the recommendations, and we're going to be in election mode, are you committing here and now to implementing the interim recommendations that will be formulated by this committee of experts? What I'm committing to do is that everyone who's participating in the system will contribute to the system. There's no free ride. Well, in any case, we agree to say that the system's no longer working, the ecosystem's no longer working, but 4 years later, there's absolutely no change. No additional security for Quebec's cultural content. Quebec really invests, and we have a series of productions that aren't regulated. France was brave by working amongst the members of the European Union to ensure that companies pay their taxes. We do like it when American companies pay their fair share of taxes and guaranteed 30% of local content. These are people who stand up for themselves. Why are we waiting? Why did we lose 4 years? I'm sure that you're waiting for the interim recommendations, but please tell me that you're at least going to implement them. Because it seems like you've told the sector, trust us, or it's the Conservatives that are going to come back. That's why I'd like to ask you, I'm sorry, but I must ask that I present this motion, a motion that we did not get to vote, that the committee look into our cultural industries and to the challenges of digitization of the economy and undertake a study of interim measures that could be implemented in the short term to assist the Canadian cultural sector, and that the committee make recommendations that the committee report on its conclusions before June 1st, 2019. I'm asking for a vote on this proposal, which I've mentioned, which you've all received, and I would like us to vote on it. Thank you.
Boissonneau?
Mr. Boissonneau, I don't think that that's the moment for that. So I think that we can say no to this proposal. However, point of order, I think it's important to note that we invested a significant amount of money into the Canada Media Fund. I'm not sure if you heard me, but that's $100 million of public money that we're supposed to vote, and you're refusing to vote. The $100 million of public money, it's the internet service providers that should be providing this. We had a system that worked, and now no one put their pants on to defend it. And it's imperiling Quebec's culture when it comes to the screens of the future. Thank you very much.
Je pense qu'il y avait une question.
I think there was a question in there for the minister. No, I asked to vote on the proposal, which was tabled as is proper.
We're going to go to a vote, then it requires us to distribute the terms of the motion. So we will ask for it to be distributed right now. So we're distributing the wording. As we're doing that, it is open for if anyone wants to debate this point. So I'm going to open the floor. I do not know if I see anyone. I've already heard Monsieur Nantel spoke to it. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui a quelque chose à dire? It's being distributed. C'est juste on attend. Alors pendant que nous attendons, s'il y avait quelqu'un d'autre qui avait quelque chose à dire.
We're just waiting to see if anybody else had anything to say. Mr. Nantel, please go ahead. Would you like me to reread it? Do you have it before us? Because I don't have it. I have it. It is moved. Just a moment, Madam Chair. We have to let everybody finish reading it first. I move that the committee take interest in our cultural industries and in the challenges of the digitization of the economy, undertake a study on interim measures which could be adopted in the short term to support the Canadian cultural and media system, and that the committee make recommendations and report its findings to the House before June 1st, 2019.
D'accord. Et puis, Monsieur Boissonneau.
Mr. Boissonneau. It's the usual practice of our committee to deal with these matters during committee business. Therefore, we're going to vote against this proposal.
Monsieur Nantel.
Mr. Nantel, I will remind everybody that I've been very cooperative in the last several weeks. I'll remind all of you that this motion was supported by all the members of the culture and media sector. They understand the situation. A member who wishes to defend it, and honestly, I'm the only one who's done it for 7 years, to defend Quebec's culture to such a degree. Well, here we have all the members of the coalition who have asked us to study this motion because we need to develop best practices that are being used elsewhere throughout the world. Quebec is the one that has the record of ratings when it comes to listening to its own content. If the rules we have in place that is being perturbed by large internet players, we need to look at that. Thank you.
The wording of the motion that was distributed may not be the correct motion wording, so I'm just getting that looked into. Mr. Blaney?
Ben, nous, on serait prêt à voter, Madame la Présidente.
Madam Chair, we would be inclined to vote on the motion, and we would like a recorded vote.
Going to whether there's any more debate. Seeing none, then we will just, can you give me 1 second because the clerk must return to his seat for the vote. So they've requested a recorded vote.
Do you want to read it again, or should I just go ahead?
I think that you can go ahead. It's been read a couple times.
Sure. Mr. Blaney?
Oui. En faveur.
Mr. Gaudin?
Oui, en faveur.
Mr. Shields? Monsieur Nantel?
Oui.
Monsieur Breton?
Contre.
Contre.
Dillon?
Contre.
Monsieur Boissonneau?
Contre.
Mr. Long?
Against.
Mr. Hogue?
Okay, defeated 5-4. Now we can continue, and we are to Mr. Hogue.
Thank you. Reference was made just a moment ago to the newspapers and the tax credits, and I'm just wondering if you made reference to the panel. At what status or when will the panel be appointed to review the support with the weekly newspapers?
They're working on it. I've asked that it was as soon as possible, but again, I'm not involved in this, and I don't want to be involved in this. Those will
Fair
be
enough.
suggestions by professionals on the field. Yeah.
So we had a number of testimony given with respect to National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, for National Indigenous Peoples Day, and there were particular concerns expressed with the funding that might be available to operationalize that. Could you give me an update in terms of the follow-through? I think there was some commitment to follow through on that. Could you let us know the status of that, please?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Mr. Hong. the budget that was presented a couple of weeks ago provides 10 million over 2 years for this. And this is extremely important. We're not saying that we're going to do. We're saying that not only we'll do it, we will provide the money for the people that want either celebrate on June 21st the accomplishments, the history, and everything related to Indigenous people across the Canada. The money will be there, and also on September 30th, which is a day more of reflection on residential schools, reflecting about the past and making sure that the past doesn't repeat itself.
Thank you. Declare that I have some interest in the discussion with respect to anti-racism, diversity, and multiculturalism. Unfortunately, I did my doctorate in that area, and so I've got a little bit of bias or thoughts with respect to that. And my comments around that would be that I think we probably talk about multiculturalism and diversity as part of the Canadian way, and I think we're saying that wrongly, because multiculturalism talks about differences rather than sameness. And my bias would be that I think we should be talking about basically wherever people go in the world, most people care about the same things. They care about family and community and getting ahead, whether it's getting ahead economically or socially or spiritually. And I think it's great that we celebrate in Canada. We can celebrate that sameness from a number of different traditions, beliefs, religions. Can you tell me a little bit about the strategies that you look at going ahead in terms of looking at how we deal with multiculturalism, diversity, and particularly anti-racism and some of the radicalization that occurs with that? Do we have some strategies around that?
We do, and thank you very much for that question. It's something actually that is a priority not only for me, but for all of us, and for the government and the people in the department. If you allow me to concentrate on fighting racism for just a couple of minutes. As you know, there was an anti-racism strategy that was cut in the past from the previous government, and we thought that it was necessary to have one again. Why? Because we feel that there is more racism, discrimination than before. The social media carry a lot of things that shouldn't be there, and we need to stop that. And we need to fight racism. And fighting racism is not something that you do this just like that. It's short term, it's midterm, it's long term, but you have to start somewhere. And this is what we're doing. To build a strategy, we had 22 sessions across the country in the last few months. I participated to a majority of them. My parliamentary secretaries were there, many MPs, ministers. We've met, there were 600 participants from 400 different groups. We were in New Province a couple of times, and this allowed us to build this national anti-racism strategy for which we got $45 million in the budget, so pretty much $15 million a year for 3 years. And now I will be able, I'm not in the position now to share all the details about the strategy, but I can tell you that fighting racism in all its forms, fighting systemic racism needs different type of actions, and this is what the strategy will include. It will also include, I can mention it because it was in the budget, a secretariat that will be in Heritage, which will coordinate everything that is done across the government. But more than coordinate, the word that I will always use, I want to use, is leadership. We want to be very proactive, I would say, on this, show leadership, make sure that all the departments are complying, that the things are changing, because we have to do it for our country, for our children, and for our grandchildren. So I'm very proud of all the work that brought us here, and I'm really, really looking forward to present the National Anti-Racism Strategy.
Thank you for that. And one of the issues I have is that often if someone of a particular religion or tradition commits a radicalized or terrorist event, the religion's attached to them. And I think we have to move away from that, because radicalization can happen in any culture, with any background, with any history, and I think we have to move away from that and find ways that we can, which is why I think we should be talking about the sameness, because it can happen in any culture. I'm going to turn my time over to Mr. Boissonnault.
Now, one Minute and 15 seconds.
Wow, an hour and 15 minutes would be
1
great.
minute.
1 and 15. Monsieur le Ministre, deux questions rapidement. First,
Mr. Minister, 2 questions quickly.
important is it to you, and what's the commitment of the ministry to making sure that we have equitable funding for arts organizations across the country? And secondly, how important is it for us to have access for the LGBTQ2 community to celebrate Pride and other events through existing funding? And can you see this increasing in the months and years to come?
Extremely important and extremely important for both. Merci.
Merci.
Was that short enough?
You have
Une autre question?
Do I have time for another question? But on this matter, how does this reflect our fundamental values to allow the LGBTQ2 community to access funding through the Department of Canadian Heritage? Well, this is part of our society. We need to recognize our differences. We need to recognize that these differences contribute to our strengths. And we need to do this while respecting differences. We need to be inclusive and work with the willingness and the beauty of working together. Through our budget, we granted more money for large and small festivals, and these are ways of celebrating many things, including our differences and inclusiveness. Thank you very much. We now have Mr. Blaney for 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and welcome, Ms. Minister. Of course, we are open to ensuring additional funding to festivals. However, you mentioned the budget, and we're talking about dozens of billions of dollars, which are going to be a burden for future generations. But the bigger problem right now is that your Prime Minister, as you know, is breaking the law when it comes to ethics. He is caught up in a political interference scandal, the likes of which we've never seen. And I want to come back to the Norman scandal. Point of order.
Monsieur Blaney, comment? Madame la Présidente, je trouve que c'est out of scope.
Alors, Madame la Présidente,
Madam Chair, I find this to be out of scope. I hope you will not include the time for which I was interrupted. Madam Chair, if Mr. Boissonneau will let me come to my point, currently, the government is really in trouble. That's the reality. Our Prime Minister, we saw it again today, last week, sent a letter to bully the leader of the official opposition. Point of order, this is out of scope again. Please focus on the subject we're discussing today. Well, Madam Chair, if I weren't being constantly interrupted, I would be able to come to the point. What is the government trying to hide? And when the government is caught up in a scandal and threatening our leader, Madam Chair, I think you made a decision, Mr. Blaine. It was very clear. You've been ruled out of order 3 times now. And we've stopped the clock again. Really, if you could please talk about Canadian heritage multiculturalism.
Yves,
Ouais, non, mais
si
peut-être
vous-
arriver plus vite.
I'm getting to it. Well, if you could get to it a little faster. Madam Chair, if you will allow it, it's my time and I will express myself. What is the government trying to hide? He talked about the importance of transparency. We're coming to the budget with 600 million in an election year for media. And please excuse me, but this is entirely relevant to the discussion we're having. And my colleague has been told that has said that a lot of small local newspapers are never going to see this money. The tax credit program for payroll taxes is not going to benefit the businesses in my riding. I don't know, Mr. Boissonneau, but I have regional media in my riding, and I want them to benefit from the measures the government is implementing, especially when the government claims that it's helping. But that's not what's actually going to happen, and this is happening during an election year when a government is caught up in scandals. My question is for the minister, is this an awkward attempt to get you out of a negative news cycle? May I ask my question, Madam Chair? Thank you very much.
Monsieur Blaney, je pense que le rôle, et vous y avez touché
Mr. Blaney, you talked about the role of media, which is fundamental. They played a very important role, talking about your cuts to Radio-Canada and your cuts to other media sources, and to cuts to arts and culture, and to other sectors. Mr. Rodriguez, Minister, I need to let the minister answer. Yes, go ahead briefly, Minister, because I have a question for you. I'm always happy to hear your question. However, when they highlighted all of your cuts, Minister, how much did you invest in Facebook? Taxpayers have a right to know how much the Canadian government invested in Facebook over the last year. Mr. Blaney, Madam Chair, this is a question that relates to the budget. I want to know how much the Canadian government invested in Facebook over the last year. That's money that's not going to regional media. Can I get that answer, please? Mr. Blaney, you're speaking at the same time as the minister. That's not helping us. It's not helping us with translation. It's not helping us to hear their answer. First of all, only one person may speak at a time. I did not hear an answer, and so it's making it difficult for me. I also heard the other question, but if we could let the answer be heard, and then we can proceed from there. You're entirely right. The questions are not understandable. I agree on that point. Let me talk to you about the premise of your question, Mr. Blaney, when you say that we're not supporting local media. Local media in your writing will be able to benefit from various tax credits. There's the Periodicals Fund. I'm sure that some of your media outlets will benefit from it, and I'm sure they'll be able to count on it in the future, and we're here for that. How much is the government investing in Facebook? How much did it invest over the last year? I invite you to ask the question. If you don't have the answer, Minister, you may provide it in the following hours or days. It would be my pleasure to have it. Please help me to find where this comes from. It's Public Works, actually. We're not the ones who buy advertising. Very well, that's the answer. Well, listen, we're talking about helping media that advertising revenue is moving. Why not tackle the source of the problem? The source is that our weekly media are seeing their advertising revenues diminishing, and you're contributing to this tax evasion through a loophole. My other question for you is, what do you say to the CRTC when it says that this government is complicit in this loophole because it's giving tax benefits to companies that buy advertising with ISPs and the Facebooks of this world? The problem, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. The question is for the minister, not for you, and I would like to hear the answer, please. I know that, but you've already taken more than 5 minutes. I gave you some latitude the second time around. Now, Madam Chair, I would like written answers, if possible, from the minister. He already answered your questions. No, he did not answer my questions. I don't know how much the government is investing in Facebook, and I don't know how it responds to the friends of the radio broadcasting when they say that there's loopholes and they're funding the Facebooks and Googles of this world. Mr. Long, for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's hard to follow. But Mr. Minister, thank you for coming this afternoon. Thank you for your presentation, and thanks for your commitment to Canada and what you do for all of us. As you know, my riding in St. John Ross is home to Canada's first, Canada's oldest incorporated city. Because of that, it has a wealth of nationally significant historic assets. When I ran on developing, re-energizing, remarketing those historic assets. One thing I learned when I traveled the world and with my aquaculture job was European countries embrace their history, they market their history, they celebrate their history, and they put money into those assets. So obviously in my riding, there's a keen interest to work with Heritage Canada to get investments in preserving our historic heritage assets. Can you speak, Mr. Minister, more broadly on how our federal government is investing in heritage assets through the Canada Cultural Spaces Fund, and how those investments are already benefiting and have the potential to benefit communities across the country, including my riding? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Mr. Long. As you know, we've invested an additional $300 million Canada Cultural Funds over 10 years, so an extra $30 million a year. Why? Because it's extremely important to do so. So this allows us to invest in small projects. I remember one in a region in Quebec, it's $150,000, but to change all the lighting system and the sound in a venue in Lavaltrie, if I remember well. I was there. And we're also able to invest in larger projects, a couple of millions. And projects, for example, in your riding, where we invested $925,000 in the Imperial Theatre in St. John for renovations and upgrades for their stage audio systems. The St. John Theatre Company, $63,000. In your province, Fredericton, $500,000 for the Beaverbrook Art Gallery. So those are very, very important strategic investments that we're making.
Thank you for that, and thanks for what you do for all of us, Mr. Minister. Over to MP Dillon.
Thank you. Okay, merci d'être venu ici, Monsieur le Ministre.
Thank you for coming, Minister. I'd like to ask you a question about multiculturalism. As a woman from Quebec, from a visible minority community, how will funding to fight racism and promote multiculturalism help other people like me to find their place here and elsewhere when it comes to influential settings? Thank you for your question. I mentioned earlier, and I think it was Mr. Hogue, that we're seeing an increase in discrimination and hate speech and various forms of discrimination. We decided to hold consultations, and we consulted over 600 groups. We met experts, people who had been victimized in one way or another through discrimination and racism, and we put together a program that I would like to present to you. I have to get cabinet approval first. And with $45 million, we're going to have projects to fight on the level of justice. How do we reverse this tendency? And how do we fight cultural appropriation? How do we facilitate the access to jobs for someone who might be a little different or have different colored skin? How do we facilitate social inclusion? That will be explained in detail in the anti-racism plan that we will be presenting soon, for which we already have considerable funding. I have a bit of time, 1 minute. In your study or the report that will be released soon, are you also going to talk about intersectionality? As I mentioned, I am a woman from a visible minority community. There are people from the LGBTQ community. Will that be mentioned? Yes, absolutely. And that was something that was raised regularly. The parliamentary secretary and I all had, and other members had the opportunity to visit various regions, provinces, and many people are living that intersectionality. They came to testify and to say, I'm a woman who is Black and gay. Those are various obstacles or barriers that can add up and can put a brake on someone's aspirations to move forward, to have access to their work of choice. All of that will appear in the plan without going into too much details. Thank you.
Minister, it was wonderful to have you here, and merci à Madame Laurando and Mr. Francis. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Ms. Laurando.
And that will bring this meeting to an end. Thank you.